Today's AskReddit post. What is the best way to get someone to stop talking to you without being rude? Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Let's get started. This is not a productive area of discussion, but in all seriousness, I used to have a coworker that would cut people telling him rumors off with "Why are you telling me this?" and it seemed to work pretty well. Not sure how rude you'd consider it, but it stopped talebearers in their tracks. It's definitely rude, but it's a good rude. Some conventions shouldn't be pandered to. I think the person gossiping is more rude. I don't feel like asking someone "Why are you telling me this?" is rude. Especially if they're needlessly gossiping in the workplace. Edit. This doesn't sound like it's any more my business than it is yours. Original is better, because it puts the onus on them to explain why, and they'll realize they don't have any answer other than that they're being poopty and gossiping, even if no behavior change comes from it. If you tell them that directly, most people would just get defensive. "Oh, I'm sorry, I need to take this." Pulls phone out of the pocket and bashes self in the forehead till passed out. Be right back. And never BB. "Dad, I'm going out to get some milk. Lem just grab my groceries suitcase and I'll be off. I have to return some videotapes and leave immediately. I can't believe that Price prefers McDermott's card to mine. Let's see Paul Allen's card. Oh my god. It even has a WATERMARK. Do you like Phil Collins? I've been a big Genesis fan ever since the release of their 1980 album, Duke. Before that, I really didn't understand any of their work. Too artsy, too intellectual. It was on Duke where Phil Collins' presence became more apparent. I think Invisible Touch was the group's undisputed masterpiece. It's an epic meditation on intangibility. At the same time, it deepens and enriches the meaning of the preceding 3 albums. Christy, take off your robe. Listen to the brilliant ensemble playing of Banks, Collins and Rutherford. You can practically hear every nuance of every instrument. Sabrina, remove your dress. In terms of lyrical craftsmanship, the sheer songwriting, this album hits a new peak of professionalism. Sabrina, why don't you dance a little? Take the lyrics to Land of Confusion. In this song, Phil Collins addresses the problems of abusive political authority. In Too Deep is the most moving pop song of the 1980s. About monogamy and commitment, the song is extremely uplifting. Their lyrics are as positive and affirmative as anything I've heard in rock. Christy, get down on your knees so Sabrina can see your asshole. Phil Collins' solo career seems to be more commercial and therefore more satisfying. In a narrower way, especially songs like In the Air Tonight and Against All Odds. Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it. But I also think Phil Collins works best within the confines of the group than as a solo artist. And I stress the word artist. This is Sussudio, a great song, a personal favorite. My trick at the office is just keep them talking while I walk. Then we miraculously end up in their office. Then I just turn around, walk back to my office. "Sorry, can I stop you right there?" and then walk away quickly. I love doing this. "Sorry, but can I just stop you there?" They're waiting for you to say something, but you don't. If you cannot get a word in, the best thing to do is drop something, which typically leads the person to stop talking, giving you a break to say that you forgot that you needed to do something. Man, with people like that I usually just throw out a "Man, that's wild" and turn away. "Man, that's wild. Hey, where'd he go?" In the UK you slap your thighs, announce is right and stand up to leave. Edit. Thank you for the gold. Can confirm it's the rules. Get a button that is always hooked up to your phone's Bluetooth system. Pressing the button makes your phone ring. Take the call and walk away. Japanese phones used to have this on a hardware level. Pretend call. Used to have that setting on my old Samsung Taco Lite. Just hold the lock button and an unknown number calls. You can get apps that do that. You can open the app. People always look at their phones, so no issue there. Set it for a call in 10 seconds. Put in your pocket and pretend to listen, then have to take a call. I use this a fair amount. Just search for fake call apps. Not gonna lie, there's no situation where lying is better than politely stopping your co-worker from interfering with your work. Put any random object to your ear and say hello. Oh, it's for you, then hand them the thing. Your username makes me slightly uncomfortable, sir. Don't fight it. Moshi moshi doppiodisu. Tuororororororo. Just interrupt them and start talking about your thimble collection. This is no thimble. This is Turkish nipple armor. May these always point to the spoils of war. How did you get silver but have no upvotes? Edit. I swear when I commented that, he had 0 upvotes, but somehow got silver. Someone really likes Turkish nipple armor. Make a promise for a future conversation. I gotta finish up this, but hey, send me a link to that thing we were talking about with that school man. Hey, I gotta get back to work. Let me know when you beat that level. I agree with this. The only downside to it is that you can end up leading somebody on and making them think you're actually more interested. Sometimes people will be like, oh, they want to be my friend, which might not be true and can create its own problems. If you don't know the person, act like you don't speak their language. While I was traveling in Leipzig as a college student, got approached by a weirdo who said something to me in German. So I shook my head and tried to leave. He then said in English that he wanted me to buy him alcohol. So I panicked and said solo hablo español. I only speak Spanish. It was a gamble, but it worked. And he shrugged and walked away. Whoa. I was once approached by a sketchy stranger in Paris. He started speaking in French. And I was like, no French. So he started speaking in English. And I said no English. So he started speaking in Spanish, which I speak. And I was like, WTF, let me go. And proceeded to escape silently. Just say no human and then crab walk away. Zoidberg noises. Woo wub 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 wub. Hey, I'm bored, let's play the quiet game. I like this, lol. Happy cake day. I start signing at them. I can read lips and hear some. But sometimes I'm lazy, especially if I don't have my hearing aids in, and just don't want to talk to them. Confession. My favorite people to do this to are delivery drivers or people who show up at my house randomly. They will come up to the door, which has a huge window, and start talking and I'll just start signing back. It makes them super uncomfortable and then they leave. Ha. The entire time I was reading this I thought signing said singing. I couldn't stop laughing. Make out with them. The covered way. Look them dead in the eye and say, I'm sorry. I just pooped myself. Just tried it out. Effective as poop. That is a poop-tea situation. Piss on his shoes to assert dominance. Like a meerkat. Looks like someone is going to earn the name Daddy Tim on. Say, can I be excused from this conversation? That's may I. Your mother raised you better than this. Imagine this person didn't have a mother. That'd be tragic. Hug. Lawful answer. Say you have a pressing prior engagement and end with we'll have to catch up when I'm not so busy. Chaotic answer. Poop yourself. Chaotic good. I have to see a man about a dog. Chaotic neutral. Hey, what's that over there? Then walk away quickly. True neutral. Why are you telling me this? Chaotic evil. Poop yourself. Lawful evil, I'm not interested in that. What is lawful neutral? I think lawful neutral should be I'm not interested and lawful evil should be to intensely stare at them in silence until they feel uneasy and then walk away. Dude, if you don't like them just tell them. It's better than thinking you have a super good friend just to find out they are poop talking you behind your back. But he's my co-worker so this doesn't work. I do like him. He's just so ducking talkative. Man, I'm sorry but I'm super busy right now, and repeat that and 5 times and they'll get the hint. Don't want to go to nuclear or else you might be viewed negatively. Just say, sorry I really need to send this urgent email, complete this urgent task, even if you're just making it up. They should leave you to it every time. If they don't and continue to bother you, then they're an overall problem for the business that needs to be escalated to management HR. Say hold that thought and wander off and you simply forgot you were in a conversation. If they ask, did you hold that thought? Good, keep holding it. Be honest. Say that you can't do this right now. Be nice and be strong. People want and need boundaries. People tend to love their own boundaries and hate others' boundaries. Tell him there's an Easter egg hunt going on and you would both be more useful if you split up. Try this in the middle of December. The eggs are just really well hidden. Pick your nose actively and wipe the boogers on their shirt. Just pretend to eat them. Just actually eat them. Say oh that's interest. Oh my god I forgot things. Silent contest. 3 2 1 silence. When I was a kid my parents used to play a game with us called Mildew. Whoever could do the best impression of Mildew won. Guaranteed 30-90 seconds of silence, and if we were feeling extra competitive someone might even get a nap out of it. No idea how we fell for that for so long. I love how they chose Mildew of all things. The creativity. Did they tell you to grow on the mattress in my garage too? Bruh, I'm gonna follow this thread because no matter what I do this person is such a dense cabbage that he won't stop texting me. I'm clearly uninterested and not responding but he won't stop texting. Can't block him. He's a friend acquaintance. I'm out of ideas. I've literally just ended convo a million times. Left on read. Didn't respond for a week. Like be friends but stop texting me all the time. I've had a few of these friends. I've found responding with non sequiturs helps. They text about their day, respond with a pic of a squirrel eating a Cheerio and nothing else. Find yourself up at 2 am, send a cartoon gif. Oh definitely send long think piece articles. Soon enough they don't want to hear from you and won't risk texting you. Slowly and gently bring your finger up to their lips and firmly press, in a shushing gesture, all while smiling politely and maintaining strong eye contact. Then back away while holding eye contact. Just say oh, then stand up and Febreze your chair. They will quickly find a polite way to leave. Sniff sniff sniff. Heavenly. I'm not like other guys. D. Buy a fake ring. Like obviously fake. I talking dirt cheap like those mood rings that adjust to all fingers. When they get talking stop what you're doing and look deeply into their eyes and don't break eye contact. If they ask you what's going on, cut them off mid-sentence. Drop your voice an octave so it sounds dreary and say, this ring used to be my wife's. We had a horrible accident on the way to Minnesota years back. The snow buried us alive and I had no choice but to eat bits of her to survive. She was into it you could say. That fetish word sums it up I'm pretty sure. Whatever the kids are calling weird acts today, if you don't shut the duck up, I will slow cook you and bring you as much my contribution to my family potluck next spring. Then go home and get some ice cream and prepare yourself to spend the rest of your life in prison. Do a partially eaten ring pop instead. I play the oh shoot game. Oh shoot, I totally forgot I told Sarah I would send her that spreadsheet. Or oh shoot, I forgot to pay my tab. Usually when you stop someone dead in their tracks to do something else, they tend to wait until they are re-engaged to start talking again. Give one word answers. It's one way to show you're not interested in talking. Edit. Remove the word polite. As someone who's not good with social cues, this one actually doesn't feel polite to me. Usually it takes me a while longer than most people to catch on and I'll let the conversation go on for too long. And by then I feel really embarrassed and hurt. It's not something I do on purpose. I just don't realize they're not engaged until it's too late. I would rather someone just be honest and say hey I'm sorry, I need to get back to whatever they're trying to do now. I feel the same way. I had a friend who did this constantly to show that I was boring her, and it hurt like hell. I get it. I suck at talking to people. Maybe act like an adult and tell me if I'm being uninteresting instead of just being a jerk. It's not being a jerk. A lot of times people just don't know how to respond to someone going on a lecture and they're actively trying not to be rude. Create a distracting explosion some distance away, preferably behind the other person, so that when you walk away from them, you become a superhero and walk away from the explosion at the same time. But they might catch you because you'll be walking in slow motion. If possible, just say, "Excuse me, I have to use the bathroom." This answer is ridiculously far down the page. "I hope this isn't rude, but I don't feel like talking right now. I'm sorry, it has worked for me." Be direct. Honestly, this is so much more polite than silence and bored looks. Depending on the situation, you're under no obligation to be polite. If it is a friend or family member, okay. But people get killed and raped because they want to be polite. Someone starts to approach you at the gas pump. They're not worried about politeness. Just shout something that gets everyone's attention on them. People everywhere that are trying to take advantage of you are depending on your politeness for opportunities to push their will on you. If it's someone you have to socialize with, I say be honest but firm. This 4 AM walking home from the club just slightly tipsy if at all, and this dude tries chatting me up. First I say I don't speak that language. Messed up by saying it in English instead of some other less known language. He's asking me where I'm going, what I've been doing, where I live, where my friends are. Short non-specific answers. Then just telling him I don't want to talk and I want to walk alone. Then we're passing by a bit darker place near some construction and I just start yelling at him to leave me alone and that he's being rude and I don't want to talk because I got scared then. Right on the corner of the construction site there was a cafe and a bunch of older men sitting drinking coffee and smoking. All they had to do was look up at me and see I was uncomfortable. The creepy dude bolted immediately. Those men had so much more power than me in that moment. It was wild. No one said anything to him. No one got up. They just looked at us and it was done. I saw a couple walking across the square I was at and apologized for being rude but asked them if we could walk together a bit because of creepy dude. They were so understanding and walked with me until we split near the road I lived on. You do not owe anyone your politeness, especially if you're uncomfortable or scared. Definitely do not be polite, be mean, be rude, be angry even if they say you're overreacting and they just want to talk. Trust your intuition. Minimally participate in the conversation. Give responses that reflect your lack of interest for the conversation. Don't add anything. Give the shortest non-committal answers. Assume the conversation is over once they stop talking, etc. If they're the kind of person who will talk to a blank wall, you'll need to be upfront and tell them their conversating is too draining for you. Too draining seems unnecessarily harsh unless they are being rude or gossiping or something. If the conversation has been polite but tedious, surely there's a less hurtful way to tell them you don't want to continue it. Talking to a blank wall is not polite. Forcing someone into a conversation who's clearly uninterested in talking is rude. Some people just can't pick up on social cues though. Sometimes it's not their fault. People on the autism spectrum being one of those types of people. Some have such a slight condition that it's very hard to pick up on. Make them not want to talk to you. Well, I'm afraid I'll have to dash, make a call, get some work done. We can chat a bit tomorrow. The odd 2-minute conversation while getting a cup of coffee or picking up papers from the printer builds up a lot of goodwill in the workplace without much effort. Provided you can deftly end it when you've finished. Pretend you can't hear them until they say never mind because they think you're deaf and too annoyed to repeat it for the 5th time. I actually wouldn't recommend this. I am mostly deaf and people can get really aggressive when they think you're ignoring them. I can't even tell you how many times I've been told by my husband that people are yelling at me or calling me a bitch. And one dude even followed me for 2 blocks just yelling at me for being rude. I didn't even notice until he caught up to me and started screaming in my face about how I'd dropped something. It was a pen, and he was trying to give it back. He ended up throwing it on the ground and crushing it under his foot. So, yeah, this has never actually worked for me. WTF. What a prick. Sorry, must go. I think I left the cat on. Say with a sudden heavy accent. This is same as what this man say to me in the old country. I kill him after. But is no worry. I did my time. Literally run away. Hey, I got some stuff I gotta do, so see you later. Most seem to understand I am being polite and we are not hitting it off. It happens. Not everyone is meant to be best friends. Lack of connection happens. Pull out a banana, take a look at it, and then say sorry. I have to take this before answering it like a phone. Bro, you actually watched the whole video. I'd give you a high five if I was a human. Make sure to click the like button and subscribe for more great content. See you next time.